guys, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. This is part 2 of my creating my own perfect neutral eyeshadow palette. So this is the part where things get a bit more tedious. I'm just giving you a warning, so maybe you want to grab a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, or maybe watch this while you're falling asleep. I tend to do that a lot. I have like very specific YouTube creators that I put on while I'm trying to sleep. Is it just me? Anyways, we're gonna be filling up this eyeshadow palette. This is the one that my boyfriend gave to me as a Christmas present. As you can see, there's my YouTube name on it. He designed this to be empty. It's pink. I cannot open it now because I've already filled this. I am filming this after I did the deed, so I don't want to spoil it for you. But yeah, this is a bit tedious because I'm gonna be swatching a lot of eyeshadows. I'm gonna be going back and forth because I'm not really a decisive person. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you will enjoy this part, and then we're gonna have our next part, which is part 3, in which I'm gonna try the final eyeshadow palette on and create a look, chit chat, doing our makeup and so forth. If you like this, I can do this same thing for different color stories because my boyfriend got me like 5 of these, so I have 5 eyeshadow palettes that are empty to play with. Just let me know in the comments, and yeah, let's get started. Sorry for the weird angle, but this is the best I can do. So I'm gonna pull up the picture from Canva that we did in part 1 of the series. So this is the inspiration picture for the palette, and yeah, so we basically chose a mixture of neutral to warm leaning and cooler tones, and I'm gonna see what I have today to recreate that here. You will be able to see I have quite a few selection of eyeshadows, so basically I'm gonna be swatching everything and seeing what sticks. Oh, I don't even know where to start. So I think I'm gonna start with the mattes because we have a clear indication of what we want. So my first thought when I was building the palette went straight to these Nabla single eyeshadows because I think that these are the perfect shades for what we need. Also, I noticed they are exactly the same size as the pens in the palette, so I won't have to touch them if I use them. These two do seem pretty similar, so I will swatch them right now and see which one I like the most and fits the theme better. One has a bit more taupe in it. This first one has more taupe, and this is a bit like warmer. So for now, I'm gonna keep the taupe one. I'm gonna place everything on the side. I'm not gonna stick everything into the palette just yet because I may change my mind as we see other eyeshadows. Then we have this like brown, which is warmer, I mean, it is pretty neutral. So I think it fits well for now. We'll just place it with the other eyeshadow. And from here, I'm very much interested in this shade, which is like a hazelnut with a touch of taupe. This is a satin shade. I'm very much into satins, and well, it's not super pigmented, which makes sense, but you can see the theme here. Of course, the theme for the eyeshadow palette is mocha mousse, so it's gonna be a brown neutral with some cooler leading shades, but I think this is the perfect shade here. I am gonna have to think if I want to add something more precious, like this one. This is from the Sephora collection, and their single shadows are great. This one has glitter in it. I'm not sure if it's gonna pick up on camera really well, but it has glitter, and I think I'm gonna set it aside for now, and we're gonna have to see about that. So that is what I wanted from this big palette. This one I created when I was traveling. And always from Nabla, we do have a few options, like if we want a cream shade, which is, by the way, in the palette here at the corner. I have one here, always from Nabla. This is like a basic white. Yeah, it's not gonna show up, but I think that since we have that in the palette, I might as well just leave it outside. I don't think I'm gonna like want to deepen other eyeshadows for a shade like that because it's kind of basic and anyone will do. We also have this brown here, which is pretty cool tone, and this could be our deepest shade because we have here like an espresso brown in that corner, just leaving everything outside. As my like taupey shades, I would love to have something from this palette. So this is the Shadow Gallery palette from Clio, and you can see in the pans I use them quite a lot. My idea was to have like these three because I feel like these are perfect neutrals, and swatching them you will see they're not like, they do have some cool toneness to them. Also the brown is pretty similar. I also really like this shade here. It's like that hazelnut from Nabla. So I want to swatch them together side by side because this one here, yeah, I feel like these are super similar. So this is the one from Nabla. It's a touch warmer. I feel like this from Clio is a bit more yellow. You can see better now. This is more like yellow, but I feel like this from Clio feels more like that mocha mousse shade. So in between these two, I would prefer the Clio one. I'm not gonna depot it just yet because I feel like we're gonna have a lot more shades like that coming up. Another eyeshadow I was thinking of was, this is from Glossier, by the way. It's one of those like trio eyeshadow trios in the shade Jute, and I never used this, so I might as well give it new life. I really like this satin shade here. Again, it really feels like it makes sense. Okay, wow. Yeah, I feel like these three are basically on the same note. Between these three, honestly, if I had to choose, these two are gonna need to be depotted and this not. But this, I feel like it has too much pink. I would go for this one from Glossier actually. Because if I have to ruin an eyeshadow palette, it's gonna be the Glossier one. Listen, I don't really care for that one. And it's sitting in my drawers collecting dust. By now we have the white shade, we have some of these, and we have that Glossier. You can't get this out, but you just picture it like here. I also feel like we have too many, like these two, we don't need both of those. So right from the get-go, let's pick one. We have one that is, I don't know where to swatch. One that is like a deeper espresso. Oh, actually, sorry if these seem patchy, but in reality I have my hands are wet because I'm using a wet wipe in between. Now that we have decided for this, my head immediately goes to the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette because, as you can see, this has tons of browns and they can easily fit our description. I'm not gonna pick like a taupe matte yet because I have precise idea of what I want it to be, but from here I think the shades that I like the most are Filigree, Ella actually, Delilah, and Travertine. So these are four. My hands are already a mess. 4 shades. This is too similar to the Glossier one, so I don't think that fits. But all these are actually pretty great. I do want something like as sparkly as these two, but I was thinking to go for the Patrick Ta singles. I know, I'm already basically depotting them, but I feel like if I leave them in this component, I'm never gonna use them. So you can see this glittery shade is kind of similar, and honestly this has a touch more glitter and a more neutral leaning base, so I would go for this. And then here we have this like warm shade. This is quite a black base to it. The second shade is just not super interesting, is it? I already did a review for this. I'm trying now layering the two shades together. that is the effect. That's pretty cool. I mean, the thing is, I am undecided between this one from Patrick Ta and what was it? I think it was Ella? No, it was Filigree. Swatching them here, you can see that the Patrick Ta one is definitely more red in comparison to this. Yeah, I honestly don't think the Patrick Ta one fits with the theme. I would go for this. And that travertine shade looks really much like the Glossier one. This is travertine. I know we're gonna have a lot of back and forth here. I haven't decided anything. Travertine and Glossier. No, I think I want the Glossier because it's cooler toned. So it was Hella. I'm gonna get it out. And here is Hella. Alright, let's get back to the mattes for a second because I have here this old, super old NARS eyeshadow palette. I want to bring it back to life. I really love this one. This was limited edition. It's called Skin Deep. I remember going to Sephora and this was the last one they had. So I'm really fond of this. And it looks like this. I know, nothing super exceptional, but I really liked these shades here. And I think that this one here on the side is the perfect cool tone shade we need. I'm just watching it again with the Nabla one to make sure I'm not bringing any dupes to this. The depth is really different. And I also like this shade here, but I think it is a bit more red leaning. Actually, it is crumbling a bit. It is more red, but we still haven't touched the more like warmer side. What if I pair these together? Yeah, I mean, I think it's still too red. But I really like this shade here. So I'm gonna keep that in mind. NARS also has some really interesting deep shades like this one here and this one. So I'm gonna swatch them because I've already like put aside some... Ooh, okay, that's pigmented. I already put aside some deep shades, but I want to see which one I prefer. This is the Nabla. Well, the pigment is definitely different, but honestly, this is a more like a stony gray vibe. I feel like I wanna stick to the Nabla one for now. This one from the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I know it's super old, but I really loved this one. I mean, swatching super deep because again, my hand is wet. But comparing it, just make sure, guys, you just don't want repeat shades. So this is the Nabla and this is the NARS one. I really actually enjoy this Kat Von D one. I think, I mean, swatched like this. I'm gonna swatch them on skin that isn't wet. These are super similar. Honestly, I don't think you can even tell the difference. Yeah, I mean, since one would have to be depotted and the others wouldn't, I'm just gonna pick the one that is not going to need to be depotted. Well, it is going to be depotted, but it is already in a single eyeshadow, so that one it is, I guess. For the warmer shades, I was thinking this from Natasha Denona. It is a highlighter, but it is like the deep one. So I use it as an eyeshadow, and that is warm, but I think it goes with the vibe. So I would have to like scrape a bit off. So at this point, I feel like we need a supporting warm eyeshadow. And this from Nabla, I think it's called like Mushroom or something like that. But yeah, you can see how well they go together. So I'm gonna also leave this one. Oops. I'm thinking about this like champagne shade here. And the only one that comes to my mind, which is similar to that, is from a new palette I got during Christmas. I would hate to depot this, but I feel like this one is the eyeshadow that we have in mind. Yeah, can you see how that fits? It has the perfect mocha mousse tone, but it is a bit like warmer and a bit brighter, so it's like this champagne one here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to use this. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shades. Oh sheesh, it got away from me. So on this mock-up, we have some cooler movie shades, which I feel like we haven't gotten to yet. I think I need to swatch everything I have so far and really see if I have some dupes that I can get rid of, anything looking too similar. So let's regroup a bit. We start with the base cream. It's not gonna show up. Well, I mean, it's doing its best. Then we have Nabla Vetiver, yeah, that's the name, which is one of those like more mauvey shades we have in the mock-up basically. You have a dark brown and an even deeper brown. I don't know if we need so many, honestly. We have a mushroom like warmer shade. Yeah, I really think this shade needs to be there. And then we have as shimmers the Natasha Denona Hella, which is a mid-tone, basically brown shade from the Too Faced palette, as a pop of like neutral leaning. Oh, this looks so good. The Patrick Ta shade, the Glossier one, and did we have anything? Yes, the Natasha Denona highlighter shade. What do we think? So far we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shades. I think the Natasha Denona highlighter doesn't really need to be here. I feel like it's a bit similar to this one. So I'm gonna get rid of that. And then I was looking at this taupey brown shade from Catrice. We definitely don't have that. I would argue we don't need this one. Actually, I think we don't need this one. This is a bit too warm, and I think we can achieve the same depth with this one plus another warmer shade. I don't think this is needed, so I'm gonna get rid of it right now. So far we have this, and we need the mauves. I'm telling you, my desk is a mess. My idea for the mauves was to pick something from here. This is the Mute library from Clio, and you can see these like mauvey ones. I really enjoy using this one actually. I used it quite a few times, and like swatching it, I mean, maybe we don't need it. I would go for something like this. This is from the Guilt eyeshadow palette from Vive. It is quite a new eyeshadow I got, but look, oh my god, together with everything else it looks brown. I promise you this is mauvey. Oh, everything is starting to look alike, isn't it? Do we need something even more purple? I don't know. Maybe this from Lisa Eldridge? Or maybe it's too much. Let me see. We have this like purpley shade. It is actually like purple, and this might actually be what we need, because otherwise everything pulls the same. And if we put that one with like this shade, this is always from Lisa Eldridge. This is definitely like a purpley. Oh, I see the vision here. Alright, let me regroup. I will swatch everything I'm thinking so far, and we'll take it from there. I know this is a bit confusing, but this is the creation, the process of creation. Depotting these will not be fun, let me tell you. Okay, quite a bit of a mess here, but here are my conclusions so far. I swatched everything we have, so yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shades. However, I feel like these two, and I mean, you cannot see, like the true color of these is a bit, yeah, now you can see. This is too similar to this, so there's no reason to include both. And I prefer this one a bit, which is more, I feel it's more buildable. And this is too purple, like it definitely is purple. So I want to get rid of those. And I was thinking of what could go instead, and then I remembered that I have some eyeshadow quads from Eyeshadows that are like super 90s, and these are like purpley mauvey shades. So I think these fit super well. I'm gonna swatch them instead of those. Yeah, you can see purpler, definitely leaning purple. And then we could complete the palette with something that is missing in my opinion, which is something like this. And this is more like a taupery kind of shade, but you really cannot go wrong with it. And you can enhance everything with that. So counting now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we have a spot for a 12. For 12th. Oh god. I was thinking we should do this deep purple. Like, I know I said that one is too purple, but can you see the vision here? I mean, I won't be using it as a proper purple. I won't be using it all over the lid, but it can be used to make everything else cool toned. I think I quite like this, and we have everything that was in my original like plans. So we have the Mocha Mousse shade, we have supporting shades here, we have some mauves, we have some accent shades, and we also have some deepening shades. I think that is the go-to. So let me try and put everything together right now. I'm gonna need to depot. Let me do my thing and we will see each other at the end of this process. Guys, I've been here for hours. My desk is a mess. It's super dirty. We'll have to sort this out after I finish. But for now, we have all the shades. And yeah, so I'm gonna swatch them all for you so that you can see where we're at. Keep in mind, my hand is super dirty at this point. I think I would need an actual shower to have everything go away. Some shades I have repressed with some alcohol and they have not dried yet. So I will have to see. Yeah, it is kind of letting me swatch, but not really. Yeah, the Patrick Ta one is just crumbling. I think I will have to add some alcohol to it. I also noticed I was missing one shade, so I added this taupe from Dior palette. I think I swatched 2 times, but that is fine. We'll survive. Here are the 12 shades. One is a repeat, which is this one with this one. Yeah. But this is the eyeshadow palette, and it is exactly as envisioned it. I'm gonna repress this one because I think this one is a bit more fragile than I thought. So I'm gonna add some alcohol to it, like this. Just use my repressing tool, and this will have to dry. This has been a process. I will be paying a lot of attention when using that one. It's made a mess again. All right, now I just want to make sure they make some sense together. So I'm creating the quads. I think I will go like this. I'm just gonna pop everything into the eyeshadow palette. And remember, I will have a part 3 of this, so you will see more of these anyways. So here we are, guys. I know it was a very messy process. I remember it. It's me from the future, and I remember how me from the past felt while doing this. Super confused, I don't know. I left out the part where I scraped the shadow off and I pressed them. I think that would have made the video really tedious. So this is the palette we finished with, and I'm gonna warn you, it's pink inside, so the colors are gonna show up really dark in comparison, but when you look at them color by color, they're not actually that dark. So this is a finished palette. It is a brown palette, of course. The whole design for this was to be a Mocha Mousse inspired palette. There are a few shades from the original design that I don't feel like I delivered on. I feel this is a bit less mauvey and more on the nose, brown. But these two here do not seem like it, but they do have a touch of mauve inside. I'm gonna swatch it for you now. And don't mind my arm because it's just very scratched. I had an incident with my cat where her nail was stuck in my jumper and her like fight or flight instinct kicked in, so she just started freaking out and got me in a process, of course. So a few of these I had to repress and I had to add alcohol, but I thought I had repressed them like too hard, but actually they are working quite fine, so I'm quite pleased with myself. This is the first row. You cannot see the top, just the lighting. You cannot see the top cream eyeshadow, but it's there. I feel like this is the most mocha mousse looking shade we have in this palette. Row 2 has been added. I hope that you can see the nuances of the shades I picked. Well, at least I'm trying to convince myself that these are different colors. I don't know, maybe I'm delirious. I don't know. But I feel like I love each and every one of these shades, and I have been actually using this palette wherever I'm going out, so as long as I use this, I guess. So this is the first shade that I feel like you can clearly see it has some purple in it, and this is from the Kaleidos quad. And here is the last 4 shades, which I feel like lean a bit more purple. So this is what the eyeshadow palette looks like. I feel like we have a good mix of like neutral shades with some purpley shades and even some warm leading shades, which is exactly what I wanted to achieve with this. If you haven't watched part 1 where I designed the palette, you will find a lot of answers there. But yeah, I'm quite proud of how this came out. I know if you look at this, it can be quite boring for someone, but boring is fine. We don't have to be like extraordinary people all the time, right? Thank you for watching this video. I hope I will see you in part 3 where we're gonna try out this palette. Am I stepping on my cat? No, I'm not. But we're gonna try this palette on my eyes together. And yeah, I hope you will consider subscribing if you like makeup content. Thank you for watching and have a good one. Bye!